Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dan Lags, and welcome back guys to another Call of Duty World War II video here on Dan Lags Plus. Welcome back everybody. This is one of the first Call of Duty videos I've made in a long time. I think the last Call of Duty video I uploaded here on Dan Lags Plus was back in November, so I haven't posted a video on World War II since the month it came out. That kind of gives you an indication on how I'm feeling about this game. I've been pretty much playing Fortnite on my second channel. In terms of like what I've been uploading, although I haven't really been uploading too much here on this channel as of late, but I've still been playing Call of Duty World War II. I just haven't been uploading it because it's just not that popular of a game, and it's pretty much a dead game, honestly, until recently. So the reason why I'm back here today, guys, is because the game has gotten a lot better. Actually, the last couple updates on this game, specifically the most recent update, has made this game significantly better. A couple days ago, a brand new update came out for this game which overhauled almost everything. I've never seen an update in the middle of a Call of Duty season this massive in terms of completely changing the game and how it plays, and it made me want to make this video because if they're going to be completely overhauling the game and its mechanics, you know, what's stopping them from continuing to make more changes to continue to improve the game? So I have some suggestions that I'm going to go through, but let's talk about some of the things that they added, which I absolutely love. And these are things that I wish were in the game since launch. I truly believe that if the game launched in its current state, it would be perceived a lot differently. Like, this game is actually not bad in its current state. I actually do like playing it. I think it's a lot better. I can't beat around the bush here. I got to give props to Sledgehammer Games. Ever since they got rid of Michael Cornbread, they've been really improving the game. I got to give them props. You know, I got to give credit where it's due. But anyway, let's talk about some of the new things that they added that really makes the game better for me personally. I love to run around the map, so they added unlimited sprint to the game for all classes, not just airborne, and that's awesome to me. Just being able to run around the map, you know, without having to, you know, stop for your soldier to catch his breath, just so frustrating, especially when you're trying to rush the tank on war. Being able to get right back up on the tank is great. So I've been loving the unlimited sprint. It's been encouraging. I've been noticing it's been encouraging players to be a little bit more aggressive. The games aren't as campy as they were, you know, a couple of months back. I love it. I think Unlimited Sprint was a great addition. They also added it so you can have 3 attachments on every gun. Previously, that was just available for either the primed basic training or the infantry division. So you can now have 3 attachments on every gun. And then if you run infantry, you can have 4 attachments. So infantry is still really solid for AR play because you can run extended mags, quick draw, red dot, grip, you know, so you're all set. So that's great, and that gives you just so much more versatility on your class. So I can run PPSH now with grip, extended mags, and advanced rifling on like any division. So you can, especially with SMGs, I find, you know, the ability to use multiple divisions now. You can use armored, you can use resistance, you can use expeditionary, you can even go crazy and go 4 attachments on infantry and throw on rapid fire on an SMG and be really versatile. So there's a lot of different ways you can play now with that addition as well. It just creates more versatility and customization for the game. So big fan of that. They actually finally added the paint jobs to the game, which, you know, it should have been in the game since launch. Let's be real here. You know, I always wonder if they're like holding it on purpose just to kind of, you know, create new content later on in the game for people to come back to the game, but I don't think that's the case. I think they just kind of dropped the ball on that one and they just didn't get it done. So it's actually pretty cool. I was able to make my my Mets camo for my PPSH, so pretty happy about that. I've just been kind of messing around with it, and it's definitely not an awful paint job feature. I think it's definitely a little bit better than Black Ops 3's. But you know, it's one of those things where you can play around with it and have fun. And then basically the last thing, they added some more basic trainings to the game. They added a Blitzkrieg basic training, and they actually changed the abilities of pretty much all the other basic trainings, like a lot of them, to correspond with the division overhaul. So I'm not going to talk about any of the specifics of the division overhaul or the basic trainings because, you know, I'm not like a Call of Duty news channel, so you guys can go find that stuff somewhere else on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, they just changed so much stuff. The new Blitzkrieg basic training is awesome. It lets you run 4 kill streaks, and it makes it so they're actually kill streaks instead of score streaks. So it's actually really good for Dom 50 because you don't have to worry about having to get a 23 kill streak to get a paratroopers anymore, including like 3 flag caps in there. So you can actually kind of get your streaks. So that's kind of good, although, you know, I still think we should add Dom 100 to the game, which is kind of something I'm going to get into in a second. But yeah, talking about the the things that I think they could add. Since, you know, normally I would just kind of not make this video because I would just assume that they wouldn't change anything else for the game. You know, the game launched the way they launched. They have their mechanics set in stone. It is so interesting and cool to see the developer completely turn the game on its head halfway through the year. So it makes me think that, you know, they can make more major changes, and they'd be open to that, and even suggestions. And I have to probably credit Fortnite for this, because Fortnite is kicking COD's ass this year in terms of just absolutely stealing the entire player base of console. The amount of concurrent players on Fortnite right now compared to COD is like laughable. So I guess that kind of triggered Call of Duty to try to, you know, get off their ass and actually make their game better. So it's been great. I've been loving the new changes, but let's talk about some things I think they could add to make this game even better than it is right now. So first off, Dom 100. They're still kind of, you know, muddling around with this. I don't know what they're doing. They start with Dom 50. Nobody likes that. They do the Dom 100 playlist for one weekend, and it was way better. And then they do a Dom 75 playlist for a weekend, and I didn't even play that. And now they're trying to like put out a poll to the community, like, what do we want? Do we want Dom 150? Or well, that would be awesome. Dom 150, that would be great. But do we want Dom 50? Do we want Dom 75? Do we want Dom 100? Just make it Dom 100. It's not that hard. Every other Call of Duty has had Dom 100. I don't know what the deal with Sledgehammer is. Just take requisitions out of the game and make it Dom 100. That's what I would do right there. Just right off the bat, boom. Next update, take requisitions straight out of the game. Just get rid of it. They got rid of a basic training. They got rid of primes. They took it out of the game. So there is no reason why they can't take requisitions out of the game too. Just take requisitions out of the game. Either that or heavily nerf it. Just do one or the other. And just put Dom 100 in the game. It's not that hard. I mean, look at the damn poll, guys. Look at the damn poll. Everybody wants Dom 100. I don't want to argue about it anymore. Next up, I think they should add 2 basic trainings to the game. Let you put on 2 basic trainings on one class instead of just one. I've been saying this actually since launch that they should do this because it restricts customization. They've definitely improved in terms of what you can do with customization with this new update. They could go even a step further by allowing you to put 2 basic trainings on one class. So let's say, for example, I'm running resistance, right, with a bar class, right, and I want to run something that will protect me from grenades. So I throw on hunker as my basic training. So now I have resistance and hunker. So that's a pretty solid class. However, let's say I want to run blitzkrieg so I can have 4 kill streaks. Can't do that because I have to sacrifice me getting blown up by nades if I'm playing on shipment, for example. So I think just having the ability to do 2 basic trainings would add even more customization to the game. And I think Call of Duty players want their character to be overpowered as possible. Look at a game like Modern Warfare 3. A lot of people really like the specialist abilities in that game, the specialist bonus, where you got like all of your perks at once, and it felt like you were running around like a super soldier. It was so cool. And I think that making the characters as, you know, more overpowered as opposed to less overpowered like they did at the start of this game is just the way to go. People like their characters to be really strong and have a lot of different capabilities, including myself. So that's why I think that adding 2 basic trainings would be great. And they'd have to find a way to balance it with some of the basic trainings that would overlap each other. So for example, something like Ordnance as well as Blitzkrieg. I think that would be something that would probably have to be canceled out in some way. Because if you were able to use Blitzkrieg but also have like Ordnance for hardline on that would be actually really good. Maybe a little bit too good. And there would be some other things in there as well that they'd probably have to figure out a way to cancel out because they kind of overlap each other, or they have like, it's too overpowered of a combination. I don't know. But I think they could definitely pull it off. They've shown that they've been able to take out basic trainings, just remove them from the game completely. They just completely removed primed from the game. They can do that with requisitions. They can add 2 basic trainings. I'm looking for a complete overhaul here from the launch of this game. They're already halfway there. Let's go all in. Anyway, let's talk about some other things that I think could be changed. As far as the infantry and airborne division, right now I think that armored, expeditionary, and resistance are the best basic trainings to choose for public matches. Now this is different for comp play. I know for like the pro players, I think right now airborne is like kind of OP in the early stages of this new update in the pro scene, just because you have gunslinger in there and you can like sprint while shooting and reload while shooting. It's just a very, like, for the SMG player, it's going to be really, really strong. So we'll see what happens. I think they might actually just ban airborne from competitive play, but that doesn't mean they can't buff it for pubs, because I think right now in its current state, airborne is a little bit underpowered for pubs. It does let you run faster, You have unlimited sprint on every class, so it kind of cancels that out a little bit. I think that they should make it so you can reload faster as well. Like, I would add the effect of hustle to this class. That would be the one thing I would change to it. So just allow your character to reload faster. I think that would give people more of an incentive to run airborne, because I think right now, compared to the other divisions, it's just a tad underpowered for public matches. Keyword for public matches. I think, ironically enough, it might actually be overpowered for competitive play. So just kind of interesting to see if they make any more changes to airborne in the future. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing out suggestions. As far as the infantry division is concerned, I like where it's at right now. It gives you all of the scoped basic training inside of infantry. You can run 4 attachments, which I really like. However, they got rid of the additional magazines on the original infantry division. I would like them to re-add that, because right now I don't see myself running infantry that much. I'd much rather just run armored with scoped as my basic training if I'm running an AR class, because it gives me a little bit more protection and reduce flinch. So I don't know, I think they could do a little bit to infantry. That would be my suggestion, to kind of balance out the divisions. But I think that in overall right now, I think the divisions are a lot more balanced now than they were previously before this update, so it's overall good. And then the last thing I want to discuss in this video, guys, is the DLC model. I think Call of Duty's DLC model is super outdated right now. They've been doing the same DLC model since you know, World at War, pretty much, where they do like 3 or 4 maps in a pack and then a zombies map, right? They've been doing the same thing for a decade. They need to overhaul this completely. I was talking about this on my live stream a little bit. Here's how I would overhaul the DLC model. So World War II has actually done a good job in adding new weapons to the game and making them pretty accessible without having to buy them in supply drops. So that's a good step in the right direction, and I hope that they continue that into Black Ops 4 next year. But yeah, I think they should make it so every single month on this game they release a new map for free to every single player that plays the game. You don't have to pay for it. New map every month. Similar to what they did with releasing Shipment 1944. They released it to all players for free. That is a great step in the right direction. I want them to do that more often. So here's my proposition. Let's say, for example, when Black Ops 4 comes out, every single month, starting with like December, then January, then February, they release a new month for free, or a new map for free. And then with their DLC packs, what they'll do is they'll release zombies maps only. So let's do like multiple zombie maps per DLC. I think people would be a lot more inclined to pay for the zombie maps if they were separate from the DLC packs. Like, I wouldn't mind buying the zombie maps on this new game. I haven't bought them because I don't want to buy the maps, because what happens is it segregates the player count, I guess you could say. So there's like 50% of the population doesn't have the map pack, and 50% of the population does have the map pack. So it's just kind of cutting the player base in half. It's just not a good way to set it up. Like, you want as many players in your pool as possible so the connections can be as clean as possible. So that's what I would do personally. Just get rid of paid DLC when it comes to map packs. Just make all the maps free. Add them in once a month just to keep the game fresh. Keep a new map coming in every month, so keep people on the game. And then people will pay for the zombies. I'm telling you guys. In fact, I think people will buy DLC more if it's just zombies. That's just my opinion on it. That's how I would continue to go forward with it. And then I would continue to make sure that they add free weapons with challenges every month as well. And even make it so if you buy the season pass for the zombie maps, you can get the weapons for free, like, immediately, kind of like what they did with Infinite Warfare. So those are all my suggestions. I think if this video somehow, if I was somehow miracle worker and this video just magically came true, I truly believe that this Call of Duty game would be significantly better than it was at launch. Right now, I'd rank it just ahead of Ghosts and AW, Advanced Warfare, in terms of like Call of Duty games. So it's at the bottom of the list. I think with the updates that they made in this most recent patch, as well as some of the things I suggested, I think it could get as far up as like top 5 Call of Duty. I really do. That would really improve the game, at least in my eyes. So anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this video talking about the new World War II update. Got to give props to Sledgehammer Games for trying to improve the game, and they have improved it significantly in the last couple of updates. So I hope they just keep on doing that. Just keep on improving the game. Because who knows, by the summertime, this could be a really solid game in the lead up to Black Ops 4. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you're still watching Call of Duty World War II videos, I know everybody's hooked on Fortnite right now, but I've been playing both. I've definitely been playing Fortnite more, but I have been getting back into Call of Duty a little bit with this new patch, and I've definitely been playing it a little bit more than I normally did. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. It's been Dan Lags. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.